Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's third final video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next 10 to 14 days. For today's final video, day 10 will take us to the 16th of July. We'll be able to extend out beyond that with the extended GFS and GWV Ensembles, maybe run around a couple of weeks. And we'll have a look at the CFS V2 at the end of the video for the next 4 weeks. That will get us into the beginning of August. I'll get on with that for you in a moment. Just to say, but the first video released today was our 6 AM UK weather forecast. I've also released the detailed European outlook for next week to 10 days. Please check out those two vids and like, share, subscribe on all of today's content. Thank you so very much, everybody, for doing that. It's the 6th of July today, so it would have been my mum's, Mrs. P's, 77th birthday today. So I'm always thinking of my mum, of course, but especially today. And I know where she is. You know, she's going to be with us and she'll be watching what we're doing, and she'll be smiling that we're remembering her on her birthday. Anyway, let's start off with the central temperature. The heating is currently sitting at 14.8, which is 1.2 degrees below the 61 to 1990 average. It's been a cool first 5 days to July. That's provisional to yesterday to the 5th. So yeah, we're currently in the 14s. That will rise back up into the 15s as we go through the weekend to the start of next week. So we will see that anomaly 1.2 degrees below average. We will see that coming up, but it certainly has been a very chilly first 5 days to July. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks. Sheffield today, the red line is the Virginia upper air temperature average for Sheffield. You see the push up in temperature we've got coming over the next day or two. Yes, we are going to see quite a big rise in those upper air temperatures as we go through the end of the week and into the weekend. It will turn quite hot with temperatures perhaps reaching 30 degrees in some places on Friday and Saturday. It is only temporary though, and after that we find that the upper air temperatures are returning back close to average then as we go through next week. Actually a little bit below average for a while around the middle part of the month, but even into the second half of the month there's no real sign of anything particularly warm or hot. Going to be lots of dry weather for the next 2 or 3 days, but things will turn more unsettled through the weekend and especially through next week. Looks like we've got some pretty big precipitation spikes there coming up, so plenty of showers, maybe thunderstorms initially anyway, and longer spells of rain to come right way up to the middle of July and possibly even into the second half of the month. Does look quite unsettled that. Temperature anomalies from the 6th to the 14th of July coming out a little bit above average. That's because of the heat spike that we've got coming up over the next couple of days, of course. And precipitation anomalies from the 6th to 14th of July coming out around to a little bit wetter than average, especially for more north regions, but also to some degree down in the south as well. Latest Windflow Map from earthnullschool.net shows that we've got an area of low pressure to the west of Ireland today, quite a deep area of low. That is turning wind into the south. That's the trigger that bringing up that warmth from the south temporarily through Friday and into Saturday. Eventually, these cooler, fresher Atlantic winds will push that heat aside though. Right, let's start going through chart data then. This is our latest UK Met Euro run. Is looking for midnight on Sunday with low pressure out to west, high pressure to the east, and withdrawing up those very warm to locally hot southerly winds. However, it's only temporary, and by the time we get through into early next week, low pressure comes meandering in from off the Atlantic, will bring showers and or long spells of rain with it. So not quite unsettled as we go through next week, with low pressure never far away. Icon again with high pressure to the east, low pressure to the west, and up are coming those very warm southerly winds into the early part of next week. Though low pressure comes meandering in from off the Atlantic, will bring showers or longer spells of rain with it through the early to middle part of next week. Cool temperatures as well from the North Atlantic. That's how we look as we get to midday on Thursday. Again, low pressure is to the north and west of Scotland. The showers or longer spells of rain rotating around the area of low pressure, and temperatures look quite cool. The GFS midnight run once more with high pressure to the east, low pressure to the west. We're drawing up those warm or very warm southerly winds through the weekend into next week. Though low pressure comes in from off the Atlantic, brings showers and or longer spells of rain in with it. Quite cool air coming around that area of low pressure from the North Atlantic as well. Another area of low pressure starts moving in by day 10. That's the 16th of July. That could bring showers or longer spells of rain with it, and as we go into the more extended range, that low pressure rain goes off to the east with a ridge building out to west, winds turning to the north, and it becomes rather cool but will still be showery. Another area of low pressure then starts replacing the first low as we get to the 20th of July. Long way out now, of course, but another low comes in from off the Atlantic, keeping the unsettled weather going, and that will again bring spells of rain and pulling in a cool north or northeasterly wind in its wake. That's a very unsettled GFS midnight run, I have to say, and often cool once this weekend is out of the way. But GFS 6Z, again, we have some warmth left over in the east for Sunday. But as we go beyond that, so actually, I'm going to have to pause the video. Hold on 1 second, everyone. 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. I haven't got the 6Z charts loaded up. They are loaded up now, so let's crack on. Though, yes, the GFS 6Z has the residual warmth left in the east and the southeast on Sunday. That gets shunted away to the early part of next week as this area of low pressure comes in from off the Atlantic, bringing showers and or longer spells of rain, with it looking unsettled, cool and showery through the middle part of next week as well. Low pressure sort of sinking through the country and moving away to the east, leaving us with these showery west or northwesterly winds heading up toward day 10 and beyond it. Low pressure sticking around the country brings further showers, if not longer spells of rain, as well as quite cool temperatures. Eventually, though, by the very end of GFS 6Z, we take that low pressure away, we store the next low of the Atlantic and get a little bit of a ridge building through the north and the west of Europe. So by the 22nd of July, finally we get something a little bit drier and warmer. But of course, that's 384 hours away. Very long way out, and there's a lot of weather to get out of the way before we get to that. If you enjoyed the video, please do you like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Or why not drop a comment and let me know what you think about this and all of our videos. And don't forget to tell friends about GavsWeatherVids. We thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Just to say, I'm going to be having a week away from next Tuesday to the following Tuesday. That's the 11th to the 18th of July. I'm going to be away in the Canary Islands, actually, soaking up the sun and the atmosphere. So the video content will be stopping for a week from Tuesday next week. I hope that's okay with everyone. I am ready to have a little bit of a break. Right, okay, the GM once more looks like this for Sunday. Quite warm in the east, but cooler out to the west, and that cooler air is heading across the country as well through Sunday, possibly taking thunderstorms with it. But as we go into the open part of next week, low pressure brings showers and longer spells of rain to the north and west of Europe, looking quite cool and showery there for the middle of next week. Winds in from a west-northwesterly direction, low pressure sticking around the country then up to day 10, keeping the wind from a west to northwesterly direction, so that remains cool and showery all the way up to day 10, which is the 16th of July. And then the ECM at WF looks like this, again very warm in the east for Sunday, cooler out west and rather showery, and then this low comes in from Monday and Tuesday, will bring more persistent spells of rain in from off the Atlantic. We keep the cool and showery scene going all the way up to day 10 with the ECM at low pressure never far away, bringing showers and or longer spells of rain, and with winds in from the North Atlantic as well. Temperatures will be relatively cool. This is a precipitation forecast based on that ECM run from Temp.com. So initially we've got a couple of dry days, but we've got these heavy showers and thunderstorms potentially advancing across the country through the weekend and on into the beginning of next week. Further showers and spells of rain to come. More heavy showers heading into the middle part of next week. Before things maybe go dry for a couple of days towards the end of next week, but that gets us to day 10, which is 16th of July. Even then, still looking a little bit on the showery side, I have to say, especially for more western regions. These are the options on the table within the ECM ensembles today for day 10. Gets us to 16th of July. 23 members of the ECM ensembles have a deep area of low pressure right over top of UK, Ireland and West Europe, combined with a mid-Atlantic ridge. That looks cool and unsettled. We've got 15 climate control and operation row with low pressure over and to the east of the country, high pressure in the North Atlantic. Again, jet stream push southwards, that's looking cool and showery. And 13, again, low pressure from the west to the north of Europe, looks unsettled, all options involve low pressure very prominently at day 10. In 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. Gets us to the 21st of July. 20 members of the ECM ensembles with low pressure to our north and east will be putting in cool northerly winds with that, or northwesterlies, and it looks quite showery. We've got 18, probably with some sort of trough left over across the north and west of Europe in combination with this high pressure around Greenland. And then we got 13, probably with a trough to the west of Ireland. Again, not particularly low pressure, but not high pressure either. So both of those options could be quite showery. This, the majority option, is the most unsettled, of course. So, all in all, not looking great at day 10 or day 14. Let's see if the CFS offers any hope, something a little bit better later in July. These are 500 millibar height lines broken down into week periods. The first week period takes from the 6th to 12th of July, becoming weak with low pressure just out to our west. We bring up a southwesterly wind, so we look unsettled with spells of rain. With that one, week 2 will be the 13th to the 19th of July. Low pressure is over Scandinavia, high pressure out in the Atlantic, bringing in the wind from like a northerly direction then with that cool and showery. Notice this high pressure down across southern, southeastern parts of Europe that have a lot of very hot air trapped underneath it. So the southern and also Eastern Europe, where it had been a relatively slow start to this summer, but for southern, east and southeastern Europe, looks like things will be getting much hotter as we progress on through July. But for the north and western Europe, actually looking rather cool and showery, complete contrast to July 2022. Week 3 will be the 20th to 26th of July. Low pressure again from Scotland to Scandinavia, high pressure in the Atlantic, winds coming in from a west-northwesterly direction. Looks rather cool and showery there with that one too. And then week 4 rounds it all off. It's the 27th of July to 2nd of August. High pressure in the North Atlantic and away across eastern parts of Europe. Probably some sort of upper level trough through here. So it could be rather showery there in the 4th week as well. We'll see. It's a long way off that. Okay, we're done. If you enjoyed the video, please do like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much, everybody, for getting out. Drop a comment. Let us know what you think about this and all of our videos. And don't forget to tell friends about GavsWeatherVids. We thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Right, I'll just tell you, coming up tomorrow, we're going to have the 6am UK weather forecast. We'll have JMA Friday. There'll be a 10 to 14 down. We might try and get a storm watch in tomorrow as well. So likely to be a busy old day. Keep checking back to the channel for more content. But for this one, and for today's videos, that's all for now. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday, and bye for now.